Apparently, Kylian Mbappe has signed officially with Real Madrid. And what is going to happen if Kylian Mbappe joins Madrid? You can't miss the show. Let's get it to start right now. Muy buena, mi gente. Aquí nos encontramos nuevamente en otro programa de fútbol con Mbappe.
Dentro del área. Golpea Petit. Zidane y gol. Ha marcado Zidane el 1-0 para Francia.
Welcome everybody, and here we go. This is another show of Football con Bambana, and yes, I do want to bring you guys a little bit of news of what's going on with Kylian Mbappe, because yesterday I woke up exactly with the news, and I was surprised, as most of you guys have been, that has been said that one of the news press, it's been the director of the news report that has just come out and came out and made it public and said that Kylian Mbappe has officially signed 2 weeks ago. And that is the reason why Kylian Mbappe went to Al-Khelaifi on last Tuesday and said, officially, I am leaving at the end of the season. I am not opting for the extension contract. And please do not feel the necessity to go and try to bargain and offer me more information, more money, because I've made my decision. And I want to give you guys a heads up, but I am already in contact with the club of Real Madrid. So therefore, that is how it started. This week has been rumored that when the news came out, and we talked about it on this channel, and it comes out to be that the news exploded yesterday. It made echo all over Europe immediately. So therefore, I got excited. I started saying, hey, I'm going to make a show immediately about this. But before I do that, I have to do what I do always to my fans, to you guys, my followers. You know, it comes out to be that I look for confirmation of news. I don't go just by the wave of fanatics, just by one person saying it, boom, I'm blowing up the news. I'll make probably more views. Yeah, I'll be right there in the wave. I'll be probably making a lot of things. But I like this channel to be integral, you know, and this channel is to be able to inform you guys about everything that is going on in the Spanish community, which unfortunately for the non-Spanish speaking people, you don't have that advantage to be able to get there. You get the translation based on probably some big major medias where unfortunately they manipulate all the news and filter it and adjust it to their needs. In this case, we don't have affiliation with nobody. Of course, I'm a Real Madrid fan, but it doesn't mean that I'm just locked up that it has to be Real Madrid and that's it. I do try to give you new guys news from every single area if possible. But as soon as I get to find the news, mostly is about Spanish news, and I come in and I translate it to you guys. So having that said, let's talk about what's going on in Spain. So I did my due diligence. I went through a lot of resources that I follow, a lot of sources, a lot of hours in podcasts, a lot of things, knowing and getting the feedback about exactly what is going on with these things about Kylian Mbappe. Is it reliable, not reliable? Well, one thing I can tell you is that person that said the news and the director of Marca has been known to be a person that doesn't frequently come up to blow up and give a big news himself. Now, he tends to, of course, bring the news in his podcast. He participates in a couple of YouTube shows and Twitch shows and podcasts and everything. And he comes out when usually news around that area. But in the newspaper industry, he tends to pretty much, as a director, maintain all the news being filtered and controlled by his people. So therefore, by him coming out and putting his name out there is because he's putting his neck in the road about what he's found out directly from the sources of Real Madrid. Now, by the research that I have done, I went on and I find out through the people that I follow and the people that gives me information, and they have confirmed that his information is very accurate, and the part about that the club is very positive on the way to see that Kylian Mbappe is very, very close to be able to be a done deal in Real Madrid. Now, they said that it's not a final signature, and when he talks about a signature, he talks that there is a signature on paper, but it's a pre-agreement. There is some minor details that is non-showstopper that are going on before he puts and dries that ink on that paper, finalized on Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid already started to make a little bit of arrangements about what date they want to inaugurate the stadium. Now, there might be a small delay if Kylian Mbappe decides to go to the Olympics, where that's a big dispute that it just popped up this morning, talking about that Kylian Mbappe is probably being selected to be carrying the flag. And if that's the case, most likely it seems like he's going to be participating in the Olympics. And the Olympics, we know that it goes from mid-June to mid-July. So therefore, the beginning of July will not be the inauguration as it was pretty much expected at the beginning. Or there could be a part that if Kylian Mbappe is eligible, they might do some plans in the morning, on the early part of July. I don't know. That's going to be something that we're going to be finding out eventually. However, let's go back to the real news. And what is going on is they're talking about, there's a lot of people now talking about numbers, because that's the next part about what is going on with Kylian Mbappe. Is this true? What type of numbers is going to bring? Now, we know that in this channel, I have brought out some numbers to you guys talking about that it's going to be probably a signature bonus of 130 million, and Kylian Mbappe most likely will make between 20 to 25 million euros. That's the news that I've been getting directly from sources, and that's the news that I transmit to you guys. Now, I did listen to a lot of news yesterday that started to put more realistic numbers in the paper, which surprised me, but at the same time makes sense once I started seeing a lot of different things. And what I'm saying is, there was Carlos Calpio, and the director of Marca, comes up and says that the signature bonus is going to be half of 120, at least less than half of 120, which that puts you already at some number between 60, 50, right? 60 being half, and if it's below, who knows, 60, 40, right? Something like that. But it's below 60 million, apparently, his signature bonus, which is a big saving and a big difference from what we were talking about for last summer and 2021 and 2022. So now that it's come up to be that part and the signature bonus, then it was talked about the salary. He says that it's going to be between 15 and 20 million euros. Now, the 20 million is close to what we've been saying in this channel. However, now being even lower than that makes it more balanced with everybody else inside the club, and it will make a perfect sense if Kylian Mbappe is willing to go that low. However, now by having the rest of the information that I've been acquiring, now the puzzle starts making sense completely. So let me talk to you about this. There was a TV show that apparently has very good direct communication with the president of Real Madrid, and has very good information through some of his journalists that he has in the show, that brings out some of the information internally with the Real Madrid team. Now, from that part, they started putting out numbers that some of the sources that I follow are saying a lot higher than the numbers that they're putting out. And it was surprising just saying, and therefore I think I got to bring it to you guys so you guys can at least have knowledge about what's going on. They're saying that Kylian Mbappe is going to sign a contract of 14 million euros per year as his salary in Real Madrid. Now, I know before you start screaming, nah, no way, that's impossible, that's too low. He's earning 50 million, 75 million in PSG, and he's going to sign for 14 million from Real Madrid. Calm down. We know that if this happens, and they're saying that the signature bonus is going to be 40 million for Kylian Mbappe. Now, where the trick is that salary, he's probably agreed and seen it as a good view, because if he enters by that salary, he keeps a healthy environment economically inside the Real Madrid phase. Now, that will mean that Kylian Mbappe will be averaging between Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Rudiger, David Alaba, all these big, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, all of them will be around the same range, which will keep a healthier environment of nobody knocking on the door of Florentino Perez saying, hey, he's getting 20 million, I should get more money. You know what I mean? Even though we know that every player in there knows that he's earned more than them, and by him taking a pay cut, no matter what it is, it's going to be superior to what they earn in Real Madrid, and there should be no complaints. However, if Florentino Perez came up and started doing something like this, it's this masterclass right here. But what he's saying that is going to make sense in this part, why this number will make sense, it will be on the image percentages. Now, we know Real Madrid is technically always, to every player, usually starts at a 50 to 50 on the image percentage between the club and the player. Because Real Madrid always knows that the player, once he joins Real Madrid, his image explodes magno. The biggest follower club in the world, the most followed club, the most followers, most investments between Barcelona and Real Madrid. They're breaking every scale around the world that any club. So therefore, they know that they have the privilege to sell the player a little bit higher. We've seen it already with Jude Bellingham as his own brand now at Adidas, just as Michael Jordan had with Nike. So things like that. Vinicius Jr. has his own brand coming out. There's a lot of things. Brahim Diaz just started getting a big, massive contract because of his image and his performance on Real Madrid. So those type of things are perks that Real Madrid can bring to a player that is worth it. The Real Madrid still wants to get a big chunk out of it, but the player makes a lot of more money besides their salary in the club. So that's one of the strategies Real Madrid has Now, we know that Kylian Mbappe has had 100% of his image in Paris Saint-Germain, but we know that Paris Saint-Germain has had ridiculous amount of numbers that Kylian Mbappe knows that he's not going to get anywhere else. But in order for him to start making a little bit more money and make up for some of the money that he's going to be losing by joining a club like Real Madrid, image is very important. Now, we know that if we go back and talk a little bit about Cristiano Ronaldo when he came into Real Madrid, after a couple of years, at one point, Cristiano Ronaldo had 80 to 20% on image part. Why? Because Cristiano Ronaldo will make 21 million as a base salary in Real Madrid. But then at the end of the year, between his business and image and everything that is going on, Cristiano Ronaldo makes over 100 million in total that year. So therefore, on income alone, the massive income for a player, especially that great or that big name as a Cristiano Ronaldo in a Real Madrid, is just massive. Like Lionel Messi with Barcelona, it just massively multiplies your exponentially your economic part, and you can charge more to the sponsorship by having that big of exposure, and that makes more money. So therefore, Real Madrid takes a less of a cut on the pie and makes more of the cut of the pie for the player, and that way the player can gain back some value that he doesn't get by the base salary in the club, and that way everybody's in a win-win position and healthy economically internally with what happens inside the club. Now, by having this, one of the agreements that they're talking about, they say that apparently they've stipulated and agreed with Kylian Mbappe that every image contract that he currently has and brings already as part of his image to Real Madrid, he's going to obtain 100% about that. Now, let's talk a little bit about that after I tell you this next phase. And he says that if that image actually increases of value during the time actually after he's been with Real Madrid, then the club will split 50-50 with him about the earning or the increase. Now, having that said, let's assume that he has an Adidas contract of 10 million per year, pretty much. So that 10 million is going to be 100% for Kylian Mbappe because that's a contract that he brought already by the time he signed with the contract. Now he signed with the club. Now, once he's in the club completely, let's just say that now his viewers multiply, triple the amount of views that he was getting. And now the Mbappe family comes back to Adidas and say, hey, we can't charge you no more 10 million. Now it's going to duplicate to 20 million in order if you want to continue to have Kylian Mbappe on your brand. So it comes out to be that now he's increased 10 million to his value. So that first 10 million still remains to be Kylian Mbappe, but the next 10 million splits up 50-50 between Kylian Mbappe and the club. So that is one of the ways that Real Madrid has been convincing Kylian Mbappe. But then it has another thing. What happens with every contract that he acquires once he's a Real Madrid player? Well, Real Madrid has made something that he's normally done with like Ronaldo Nazario when he came from another club with a lot of contracts and everything, and something he's done with Cristiano Ronaldo, which is what we talked about a little bit earlier. 80-20 is the percent. So any contract Kylian Mbappe has on his image, after he unites with Real Madrid, he's going to earn 80% of that, and Real Madrid will only earn 20% of that. Now, that makes perfectly sense why now Kylian Mbappe could probably consider a lower value on a salary, a base salary. I'm not saying he's going to get 14. I'm just saying that's the numbers that they're giving out. But he might be able to make probably 20. And when that, even if it's 14, would it make perfectly sense? Would it make a difference if he made 16 than 14? If he's getting 80-20 on the image and 100% on the image that he brings already to the club? No, it won't, because that's only 2 million of a difference when he's making massive amount of money with that part. I know everybody will start saying, yeah, but the rich want more money and everything. But when it comes out to be for convincing these type of players, they calculate and analyze what's going to be the magnum. Now, the magnum for them, it's going to be to make the most money. And if by accepting a higher base salary compromises a little bit of the percentage of the image, that is not worth it for a player like him. So therefore, that is one of the reasons why Kylian Mbappe apparently has pre-agreed already with Real Madrid and just fine-tuning a couple things about the day, the participation, if he's going to participate in the Olympic Games, if he's going to be, when is the date that he's going to start with the club, how's he going to start, everything. Those are the fine-tunings that are going to be. That's why I mentioned that it's apparently what is missing on the contract to be able to dry that ink. It's non-show or non-deal breaker. So it's minor details that is going. This is a massive contract that they're dealing with. And I know Real Madrid has had a draft for years already, and some adjustment is coming, but things have changed also from 2021 or even 2019 to right now to 2024. So this is part of the things that is going on with Real Madrid and Kylian Mbappe. And let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen with this. Well, we know something also about talking about stability of economical stability and health in Real Madrid. One of the things has been Real Madrid has always been known that when a big signature has come up like this, we've seen other big inquires of salary gets out of the club. We've seen it with Varane, we've seen it with Casemiro, we've seen it with Morata leaving. You know, we've seen all these big names being segregated out of there when they bring a big signature like this. Why? Because it comes out to be that Florentino has always been known to keep the healthy environment economically of the club. And this is one of the reasons why today and day Real Madrid is able to have a salary cap of over 700 million when you have a club like Barcelona. Just came out right now the news that they have a salary cap of 204 million. So that's just shows you the difference about when you manage well your money, you have better income possibilities to expend. So by having that said, there's been big rumors that the person who's going to be sacrificed is probably going to be Rodrigo Goes. And I'm not going to lie to you, I give my concerns a little bit that I started to see a lot of images that Rodrigo Goes is not in there. However, in this channel, I want to make it official that I do not believe Rodrigo Goes is leaving from Real Madrid this year. He's not going to be sold. I think Real Madrid is going to probably balance out a little bit the check with the exit of Luka Modric. I think Luka Modric will not be renewed. I think even Luka Modric understands this is happening. And one of the things that has come up as an alternative as early as today has been that Carlo Ancelotti has invited him to be part of his crew of coaches if he wants to maintain himself in Real Madrid. He's given an opportunity that he can start getting back and start joining his coaching team to be able to help the club still and his coaching staff on this journey. Now we know that Luka Modric still has that fire that he believes that he's a young player, and we've seen it over and over again. He never ages, and he still defies gravity and age expiration dates. Right? It comes out to be that he still shows that he can play at this high level. And there's still strong contracts out there that he can make a lot of money, like in Saudi Arabia, like MLS in the United States. You know, there's still possibilities for him to relocate to somewhere that he doesn't have to play at the highest level and he still can get paid a lot of income. And it comes out to be that maybe that's the phase that he goes. But he's promised already himself that he's going to take the time this summer to make a final decision about if he's going to give up on football or is he going to actually come inside and continue playing the sport that he loves and he's been passionate about his entire life. Now, the great news about him staying in Madrid will be that his family doesn't have to relocate. They're very accustomed after a lot of years being in Real Madrid, and therefore it's an easy transition to maintain in the club. The bad news is that, you know, as a player, you get out that first year, you want to go back immediately back inside, and it pays a big toll when you try to do that. So therefore, it's a big decision on his case. Not everybody's Zidane, not everybody's probably like Toni Kroos that just says I'm out and he leaves. So you know, it comes out to be that these players is very hard to retire because it means the end of their career as a player. So having that said, by him leaving this summer, it's going to relieve a big economical salary. So that might balance out a little bit the checkbook for Kylian Mbappe to be able to join Real Madrid. There's other exits that might be occurring, like Dani Ceballos. There's rumors that Nacho Fernandez might not be renewing. There's rumors that Lucas Vazquez might decide to leave. You know, those are other things. Maybe Toni Kroos doesn't want to renew his contract. Those are type of things that might be occurring that could actually balance out the check, and still Real Madrid would not be required to readjust for some of these positions because they have a solid ground right now of youth and a team that they could probably survive another year, or by acquiring players that are very lower, a little bit more on the lower end on the income, or even increase some of the youth players from the Castilla all the way up to the first team. So having these options is some of the things that Real Madrid has in its plate. Therefore, this is one of the beliefs why I think Real Madrid will not take the risk at this moment to get rid of probably like a Rodrigo Goes. I know initially in the year started, they started talking that Vinicius was leaving. Now everybody's starting to talk about Rodrigo Goes is going to be the sacrifice. I think neither one of them are going to be sacrificed. I think this squad is going to be a squad to be feared. This is a squad that is going to be as dangerous as possible. And what a healthy option Carlo Ancelotti has to be able to maintain himself with this type of squad. So therefore, This is some of the news, not even having that said completely and not even taking things about. Number 10, that is the jersey that Kylian Mbappe loves besides number 7, might be available if Luka Modric leaves after this season. And then number 9, which is available, will probably go to Enrique, which is the youth player from Brazil that is coming inside to Real Madrid next year. So those are two options that are coming inside. Those are two options that are coming around in the club. This is going to be exciting times. We're going to keep you guys posted. Once that final signature is dry, if we get to know it, we'll let you guys on that know. But what we do see is that there's going to be rumors now about this player meeting up with this club. We already saw ESPN started saying, "Oh no, Mbappe family started meeting up with Manchester City." This happened already with Jude Bellingham and Rudiger and Alaba. So this is something that is very common to be spreading this type of rumors to deviate some of the stress about trying to indulge a little bit more if it's true or not to be in Real Madrid. Real Madrid will probably deny it publicly, even though this information apparently has been filtered from internally in the club to be bringing a little bit more conciliation. I think reconciliation on the crowd with the player of Kylian Mbappe. And there's a lot of Madridistas who are excited about this news and they feel a lot more confident in 2021. And even some skeptical journalists are starting to say, based on the information that I got, I think this time will not be a repeat of 2021. So that is the news right there for you guys. I hope you enjoy this. It takes a lot of hours for me to confirm some of this information, but I do want to always bring to you guys the best news and the most accurate. I might not be the first one bringing it out. If I am sometimes, hey, it's pure luck in that moment. But besides that, I try to bring you guys the honest news and the most neutral news as possible. So even though everybody knows, whoever knows me very personally knows I'm very passionate about Real Madrid and I'm very defensive in that point. But there's a lot of players that come up and say, hey, a lot of people that come up and say, hey, I believe and I trust Football con Bam Bam. Bam Bam, on the other hand, no, I don't listen to him too much. He's too extreme and very erratic about Real Madrid. But I try to be the neutral guy in here. I try to give you guys the most serious information, and I always try to give you guys posted. So I hope you appreciate that with that subscribe button. That it doesn't cost you anything, and that like button, it doesn't cost you anything either. Ask me a question. I'll be more than glad to try to answer to you guys if you ask me questions. So therefore, how do you feel about Kylian Mbappe if he's finally signed up with Real Madrid? Do you think it's a very good acquisition? Should Europe be starting to tremble on their knees right now? I know I say that it is. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the show, and I'll see you guys until next time in another show of Football con Bamba. Ciao!